Welcome to Better with Art. I'm Melinda, and I'm here to encourage you to reclaim your creativity and establish a healthy habit of creative self-care with weekly small art prompts that can be done in an art journal or on paper if you don't have one. If you are interested in what I use in my videos and what would work great for joining in making art with us, my recommendation is in the description. There is almost nothing in this week's video that is as I planned or thought would be. From the prompt itself to what it was filmed on and the room it was filmed in. What is as it should be is that I showed up with your weekly reminder to take time for creative self-care. Reassurance that taking time to make art is not a waste of time, and invitation to keep an art date with yourself. No, this week's video did not go as planned, but here we are. Life often doesn't go as we plan, or expect, or hope, or would prefer. But we make the best of it, or we should, and we move on from where we are. This week's small art was going to be an experiment I was going to invite you along on, however it turned out for me. Instead, it's more an art equivalent to comfort food that I hope you find as comforting, enjoyable, relaxing, mind-calming, reassuring as I did. As you can see, we are getting the watercolors back out this week. I used just one smallish, soft, round brush. I did a 2-page spread, putting plain printer paper under each side to protect the other pages and my work surface. I also taped around my pages to better protect my other pages and for nice clean edges. It made a big difference in the mess I would have made and made this easier and more relaxing than some of my art journal watercolors have been. I'm not tidy. I highly suggest doing this week's project like this. A spray bottle also made this project more satisfying. As you can see on my first page, I went with the warm colors. My original plan was to use the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, which would also blend together to create the secondary colors. But I forgot that I should have reached for yellow instead of orange second, and decided I would create one warm color page and one cool color page. I love purple, but it doesn't really work with the warm or the cool, with that whole complementary color thing. In your purple, you have red and blue, so the green doesn't like it, nor does its complement of yellow. These things can look good next to each other, but if you're throwing a lot of colors, watercolors, on a page, and you don't want to end up with mud, they don't work the best together. But greens and blues can make some gorgeous combinations. Get out your watercolors and play in whatever way feels good to you. My prompts are not always going to hit you where you are and be exactly what you need. This worked for me. It's what I needed. And maybe it will work for you too. If you're feeling excited to play, or if this prompt feels like a relief as it did to me, I'm happy. If not, give it a try. You may find something in it you weren't expecting. Maybe it will be a jumping off point for something that will suit you better. My prompts aren't about you doing exactly what I do. They're not even necessarily about trying the specific prompt. They're about getting you to a place where you are ready to sit down and take time to make art for creative self-care. When your colors are as you would like them to be, or you're out of space and need more pages, it's time to, as I believe her name is Lacey, but it's escaping me at the moment, also known as Rebel Unicorn Crafts on Instagram, says, wait for it to dry or make it dry. A hairdryer works okay for this, but I also have found that it can change the way some of my painted areas look, as in how it dries edges of wet spots. Whether you have time to wait or you don't, I will say this. This is another way that this project ended up going differently than I expected. When I set up the camera and got out a new art journal, I still didn't know what I was going to do to replace the experiment I no longer had the energy for. And when I decided to do this watercolor project, my original plan was to make all the lovely colors, and when they were dry, draw on them. As things progressed, I was thinking maybe some abstract flowers within the warm page and using the lines in the blue and green. But when they were dry, I really like them the way they are. If I feel like I need some more doodling, I can just doodle, but these somehow calm my soul. They make me smile, at least internally. I like them just the way they are. They started out as very pleasurable background making and became something I love. Again, I say, when working on your Better with art journal, do what works for you. I'll be here every week with a new prompt. And I hope you get a lot out of them. But I also hope you get a lot more. Thank you for joining me for another Better with Art prompt. If you plan to take some time to let yourself get caught up in the flow of just watercolor coloring, the movement of the color across and in the water, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to not miss creative self-care art making encouragement and inspiration. Because we are better with art.